Hi, and thanks for clicking over to get the information you'll need to make an informed decision on how and when to file for your Social Security benefits. There's a couple of things that you're going to need to know in order to be prepared for that filing. Number one, you need to understand the information and the process leading up to your filing. That's why we're here today. We're going to review in a moment our 70-page guidebook that walks us through step by step the process. Next, you'll need to personalize the information. And by that I mean you'll need a personal analysis report that highlights the best age for you to file for your benefits based on the personal conditions that relate to you and your spouse. Things like your health, other income and assets you've saved, whether you intend to work, your annual spending needs as you move into retirement, all these factors into your decision. So we've prepared that personal analysis report for you to pull all this information together so it makes sense for you and you have the tools and information you need to make the right decision. After all, you just get one chance to make that decision and you want to make it right and you want to be sure about it. So let's get started on reviewing our 70-page guidebook. Okay, so here we are, the review of the step-by-step guide on how and when to apply for Social Security benefits. If you'll soon be applying for your Social Security benefits, then this is a simple to use and easy to understand guidebook that guarantees to show you step by step when to apply to Social Security and how to increase your monthly benefits. And before we get started here, as a father and business owner dealing with Medicare and Social Security services for my disabled son and my clients, I've been helping people for a long, long time. So let me ask you, who would you be more comfortable with helping with your situation? A clerk in the Social Security office who's just doing their job? Or someone like myself that's been in the trenches fighting the battle for over 30 years for a cause, my son's Social Security services? So I think the answer is pretty simple there. So let's get started and dive into this book. Okay, so let's scroll down here and start with the table of contents just to take a quick look at this so we can explain how the book is laid out. First thing we do here is talk a little bit about the basics of Social Security, getting you ready, what Social Security is all about, the mechanics, and qualifying. Next, we break this guidebook down to 5 steps, and here they are here. Step 1, we begin to get you to understand your own monthly benefit, how it's calculated, and what your primary insurance amount means. Next, the second step is just getting the facts down early retirement. In other words, just trying to get you to understand what the best age for you to retire is based on your own personal situation, a break-even analysis. So we go into that a little bit. The next, we take step 3, and we're getting into more of the strategies that you can employ here with your filing, and talk about continuing to work, the file and suspend strategies, divorced and spousal benefits. These are all strategies that can be employed based on your own personal situation. And lastly here, through step 4 and step 5, we start pulling it all together in step 4. And here's where that personal information, your personal needs come into play. And here we explain and start to talk a little bit about your personal situation and what's best for you. But this is what will overlap into that personal analysis report, which is in another section of our web information and our Facebook page here that you can access. And lastly, we talk specifically about how and when to apply, meaning some of the specifics about the information you're going to need and so forth. So let's get started then, moving forward here. Okay, now we've picked this up at step 1. Prior to this, reading about the basics and mechanics of Social Security, you can do at your leisure. Let's start with just understanding your monthly benefit. How much will I receive in Social Security benefits? So let's take a quick scroll through here just to give you a little understanding on, we talk a little bit about determining your amount, your benefit amount. We talk about how you qualify, limits, what your primary insurance amount is. We give you some examples of how that does work again, there's some examples specifically about all of that. What's my full retirement age? Here you can see, based on the year you were born, uh, the retirement age starting with people born after 1943 and all the way up to 1957. 58, they're still in the 66 age bracket. As you turn and were born in 1960 or later, it changes to 67. So again, between 1943 and 1960, it's basically 66 years old, and after that, it's 67. So we talk about that. And now let's move into the second step here, getting the facts on early retirement. Do I take my Social Security benefits early or wait until my full retirement age? Here we just try to give you more background and more based on your own personal situation, what it means to take retirement early. Taking it early at age 62, you're only going to get 75%. If you're 66 years old, being your full retirement age, you're only going to get 75%. And as you see, 63, 64, 65, it increments up to a percentage of 100% in order to get your full retirement benefit. If you're eligible at 66, you do have to wait till 66, and that's when you'll get your full retirement benefit amount. And you can read a little bit more about that. We give you some examples here, so it gives you a better understanding as you work through it. What if I decide to wait until after my full retirement age? Well, we give you some examples here. Again, if you retired at age 66, is that your full retirement age? If you wait until 67, 68, 69, and 70, you earn 8% more per year. So Uncle Sam will provide you an additional 8% if you wait till 67, all the way up to age 70. After, say, age 70, there is no more benefit. In other words, there is no more advantage to waiting to file your benefit. It's going to cap out at 132%. So you can read about that. As we move through here, we give you more examples and more reference points. Again, what's the best age for me to retire? Again, it's a very personal decision, and we talk about that throughout this book, and we'll talk about that in your personal analysis report. But you can read about here your break-even analyses and some examples we use in order to put that into play here for you so you do understand based on some live examples here in the book. So let's scroll down now to the next section here, step 3. Okay, here we are at step 3. We're going to review some of the strategies that are made available to you. Continuing to work, there's the file and suspend strategies. We'll talk a little bit more about limits and tax implications on your Social Security benefits. So let's scroll down here and just take a quick look at this section. Again, can I work and still collect my Social Security benefits? Of course you can, but there are implications for filing taxes and limits on the earned income, and actually some implications on claiming your early benefits and so forth. So you can read there. We give you examples of if you continue to work and you take and collect and file for your Social Security benefits, what's the implication on your benefits, what's the implication on your taxes, and so forth. So we go through some examples there, give you some references. Again, taxes on your retirement benefits. We talk about the IRS code and what you have to be conscious of when you make a decision to continue to work and to be collecting on your Social Security benefits. Again, I'm not going to get into the detail here. I'll allow you to read through it. I just wanted to give you an overview here, and we give you lots of examples on this. There are certain strategies that make more sense when your intent is to work and to coordinate those. There are filing strategies that we'll talk about here. We don't talk about them all, but there are over 80 strategies. But here we'll talk about the most prevalent ones, things like file and suspend, and talking about how you can file and suspend, and it has to do with your spousal benefits. So this one is more applicable to being married when you file and suspend. And we'll talk about it here. We go through it. I'll scroll down here. again, we give you some examples of calculating the financial impact. Here, I've referenced a certified financial planner, Elaine Floyd, in our materials here. She's considered an expert in her field, and we give you some examples of what she's talking about here and pointing certain implications out on working and the impacts there, taking withdrawals and so forth. So we'll scroll down here quickly and we'll get to the next area here. And again, there are additional strategies here. We talk about, again, spousal, divorced, and dependent benefits. Those are all considerations you should consider when you're reviewing when and how to apply. There are certain strategies you might want to consider if in dual income households. One spouse is working, both are continuing to work, one is going to retire, one isn't, and just coordinating those spousal and survivor benefits. So again, I'm going to go through this rather quickly here, but we do touch on all these things. We give you all the eligibility rules. We've done a lot of calculations, giving you a lot of examples here. So I'm going to talk a little bit more here on the last two sections, and why don't we move down into those sections, and you can continue to read as you download this. You can read about these strategies. Okay, so here we are at step 4, pulling it all together. After you've read through all the strategies and you've got a good background on the first 3 steps here in this book, you're ready to kind of take the next step here about identifying which strategies are best for your application of your Social Security benefits. So let's take a look down here. We'll just go through the overview. In other words, what's best for you? Now that you've taken the time to read through all of this, now you have to put your personal information into the mix here. And this is the reference I was making earlier to that personal analysis report. That will pull together all your personal income needs, your spending needs, and that personal analysis report, which you can get in another section of our webpage and Facebook page, will tell you and lay out everything that's specific to you. What I've done here is put things in generality so you get a good understanding, but you do need to pull it all together with your personal information. So let's scroll down here, and I've basically broken this down to tasks. Task 1, again, run a break-even analysis. This is where you need to get the information of your personal needs into that analysis report. And task 1 is really talking about getting that analysis report done. Here, I want to just note, there's more than just projecting how long you live and you expect to live and then plugging numbers into a table. Again, a customized personal analysis tailored to your specific needs is what you need to complete your analysis. This will account for the variables in your life, such as your health, life expectancy, lifestyle goals, family situation, risk tolerance, and many, many others. So that's what you need. After that's done, then you can start moving into task 2 here, reviewing your current status, where you stand, your health, life expectancy, as we talked. Thinking about your survivor's benefits and so forth. Task 3, coordinate with your filing with your spouse. So again, if you're married, task 3 comes into play where you have to, you should consider both filings together, coordinating those together to maximize your benefits. And that's, again, becomes part of that personal analysis report we prepare where we do that for you. Task 4, review the other assets and sources of income you have, and again, pulling that into your analyses. And task 5, consult with some type of financial advisor would be my recommendation, whether that be an accountant or somebody in the family that's gone through this and can help you, or a lawyer, whomever. Just getting it off, your information out and available to somebody else that can help you walk through these steps would be helpful. So that's basically it on step 4. We can now roll into step 5 here. How and when do I apply? Again, the decision on when to apply will be developed in and through your personal analysis report when you walk through that, and how you apply and so forth. This section here will tell you a little bit more about gathering your documents at the beginning of the application process. So as you can see here, we give you some information that'll, some of it's redundant, some of it's just a reminder on when and how to apply. And we give you the information, we give you the references, we give you the information you're going to be being requested of you when you do your filing. So we list all that for you to prepare you. And again, we give you the telephone and in-person application information that you'll need. And as we roll down here, that's about it to our book. And we talk a little bit more about myself. And at the very end here, we give you the reference and other source materials. And that could be very helpful to you as well. So I would take a close look at that. If you have any questions about any of the information, it's referenced down in this source material. And I thank you for your time.